right, it's long overdue, but we got to get to it. This is the exclusive review for Thor, Love, and Thunder. This is the fourth installment in the Thor series, if you will, and it continues right after the events of Avengers Endgame, as we see Thor himself tagging along with the team of the Guardian of the Galaxy. And honestly, it was something that I was really excited to see, because whenever MCU does any crossover stuff, it's always fun. I love the dynamic. I love the exchange between characters and just different worlds and different realms put together. It's always very entertaining. It's the charm of, I think, MCU overall. With Thor: Love and Thunder, we have Thor once again with his new ultimate weapon, Stormbringer, or I think, yeah, that's the weapon. As he seems to have a bit of an identity crisis this time around. He doesn't know what he wants to do with his life now that he doesn't really take up the mantle of the God of Thunder, and he doesn't really oversee his own kingdom, which is New Asgard. And so he's sort of out on this sort of journey of self-exploration and trying to figure out what is his purpose in life. And comes along with it is a new antagonist that surely challenges Thor himself, played by Kristen Bale, Gore, the God Butcher. And I was really excited for this because I'm always stoked for a villain that is dark, mature, and has a really solid motivation. And Kristen Bale, not only in terms of performance, but in terms of this character's motivation, really feels justifiable. And it's always that clash between good and evil. But I'll say there's some gray areas here, because you really feel for Gore as a villain, and his actions do have some justifications, because the whole idea is that in these different realms in the universe, there's deities who are responsible for those who worship them and follow them, but they can be ignorant, they can be arrogant and selfish, and Gore just believes that, we shouldn't rely our fates and our destinies on a higher being or an omnipotent being, that, we should hold those destinies to ourselves. I think that's a really great message, but coming from an evil guy. So it makes for a very interesting antagonist, and the movie all around has, again, that same comedic tone that comes from the influence of Taika Waititi, who is the same director who, helmed Thor Ragnarok, and people consider that one of the better Marvel movies out there, justifiably so. And he's back at it again with Thor: Love and Thunder, with a lot more rock music, a lot more of that 80s synth sort of vibe to it. And some people have complained that the movie tends to maybe detract a little bit from the emotional aspect. Like, you can't really get emotionally invested because there's just a lot of comedy in the film. And I get where they're coming from, but I'll be honest, I didn't find it so ham-fisted like some people and some critics have complained. I feel there is a balance there, because especially in its third act, when it really gets climactic and there's a massive confrontation between Thor and the main villain, I feel they still do it. I feel they still do it right, in the sense where, in terms of the stakes, in terms of the music, in terms of even the color, visually, this is a very stunning film to watch. And you go to many different places in the world of MCU here. You get to even dabble a little bit in the pantheons, which I won't talk too much about, but if you've seen the trailer, I think that's a spoiler enough. They do also introduce, they reintroduce Jane Foster, who was Thor's past lover. I was very worried that it felt like a very forced character into the story, but no, they did a really good job of rewriting her and reworking her character and giving her a sort of development that we don't get to see in those last movies, because she sort of just disappeared, and they try to rework that and try to make sense of her return. And again, I won't dabble into too much about it, but Natalie Portman did do a solid job playing as the mighty Thor. being chosen by Mjolnir. And there's sort of like this really entertaining, you could say, love triangle between Thor himself, his past hammer Mjolnir, as well as his ex Jane Foster. And again, there's a lot of comedic aspects to this movie that could either throw you off, or actually you might really enjoy. And I'm on the side where I really enjoyed a lot of the comedic aspect of Thor: Love and Thunder. And again, it does have a very endearing finale, one that helps develop Thor as a character. But I will say one of my gripes about the film is that they really dumbed down Thor. He's a lot more, I wouldn't say idiotic, but he, for someone who's been doing this for a long time, he seems like a hero who's not sure on what next step he should make. And he sometimes feels like he's fumbling around whenever he is put into a corner. So, for someone who's now had 4 movies, I feel like in some way he kind of went backwards as a character. That kind of annoys me, honestly. I just thought they'd do a better job with him, but I guess it's the style of the movie they want to go for. They want to make him more funny as a character. So, some deduction of some kind took place there. I just wish they didn't do that, because Thor really does feel a bit dumbed down in this story. However, overall, it's a really solid film, enjoyable, and if you can excuse the comedy, which could, again, comedy's subjective, right? So you might find some parts funny, some other parts, just kind of flies over your head. But overall, it's a very entertaining movie, one that I've been waiting for a very long time, and is definitely worth the wait. And so, therefore, Thor: Love and Thunder, I'm giving it a final verdict of 7 out of 10, and I would recommend you watch it if you're an MCU fan who keeps up with the general, installments and the new movies and shows that come out for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, I'd love to hear from you guys. Text me, 4215, it's Slaughter Do. Have you gotten the chance to watch the film, and what do you think of it? Share your personal opinions or your critiques, whatever it is, right here on The Evening Buzz.
Pulse 95.
Now, I know it's been several months since the Oscar incident that took place. The Will Smith slap that shook the whole world. Now, I know it's kind of quieted down. People are not talking about it as much. But when the dust have settled, there's all sorts of questions that come about. And one of them, what happens, what goes behind the scenes for Will Smith and, projects that he's affiliated to, I know when you do an action like that, so severe, out in public, just, it definitely has a lot of repercussions. And I know his career is certainly in a rabbit hole of some kind, and it's going to be a while before he can dig himself out of that situation, with him also being banned from the Oscars for the next 10 years of his life. What happens to the movies that he has been working on since the moment he slapped Chris Rock? Well, there has been a couple of projects that have been put on hiatus or on hold, especially the 4th installment to Bad Boys. However, Martin Lawrence, who is a co-star with Will Smith for the Bad Boys franchise, he went on a recent interview with Ebony magazine, and he expressed that he claimed that Will Smith's Oscars slap won't kill the development of Bad Boys 4, despite the reported postponement of the project since the aftermath of the incident. He expresses his confidence that Bad Boys 4 will move forward, as he dismissed the speculation that the franchise's 4th installment would be canceled as a result of Smith's onstage altercation. He says, "We got one more at least," he asserted, implying that Bad Boys for Life will get a follow-up and in some way wrap it up. He says, "It was big," Lawrence said of the launch for the franchise, "for us to come together and prove that we can deliver and we can pull people into the box office, that 2 black stars, 2 sitcom stars could make money at the box office. It's huge. I didn't go to college, so I felt TV was my college years. I felt with movies, I had graduated, it was just different. Now 25 years later, Bad Boys has proved to be one of those big, buddy cop action comedy movies that has certainly lived on even today. But the development of the fourth Bad Boys, despite being confirmed, who knows when it's going to arrive in theaters, if it's have continued its production, because I know if the movie comes out, there's going to be this, eeriness in the air when it comes to Will Smith. Some people might even boycott the film. They will go out of their way to make people not go and watch the movie and support Will Smith, maybe because they still feel adamant about, not giving him the spotlight, or that he hasn't done enough to deserve, continuing and acting in some kind of, some shape or form. I know there will be people who will go out of their way to be like, don't support any future movies from Will Smith. So there's definitely going to be that audience. But I know there's still others who probably don't care. They probably dismissed the drama that took place in the Oscars and are watching it because, sometimes you just want to watch an action flick. It doesn't matter the drama behind it. It's really up to everyone's preference, but it certainly will be weird when this movie comes out because everyone has a certain way they feel about Will Smith now. Now that his personal life has been so exposed and so heavily criticized at the same time. I know I was shocked when the incident happened, and just the aftermath that came with it. It still feels like it rippled through and will continue to ripple for the next coming month, coming years. But I'm just saying, like, whenever a Will Smith movie comes out, people are gonna see it differently now, and probably not for the better. But until then, we're gonna have to wait and see. Who knows if Bad Boys will get its, if the Bad Boys sequel is still in production. Martin Lawrence, the co-star, feels very confident it will happen. I think he's just trying to, initiate the hype in some way. He's trying to keep that franchise and its production team alive and well, giving it, just a breath of life, especially after that huge drama that took place a couple months back. But you guys let me know. Text me 4215. It's Lothar Do. Would you watch any new future Will Smith movies in the coming years? Or have you just, halas, you've completely now, you will never go and support this actor in whatever projects he makes because you feel like it's, he's just a completely different person now, someone you don't support. Do let me know. Text me 4215. It's Lothar Do. And with that, guys, it's a wrap here on the Evening Buzz. Thank you so much for tuning in. And don't worry, we're going to have our show up on our YouTube channel very soon. Make sure to subscribe to our channel at Pulse 95 Radio. That's where we post all of our talk shows throughout the week on our channel if you want to keep up to date. And with that, guys, I'll see you guys tomorrow from 8 till 9 o'clock once again, keeping you guys busy and entertained throughout the nightly drive, wherever you are on a lovely weekend like this. And with that, guys, I want to wish you a fantastic day. Good night. Have a safe drive. Don't drive too much. Gas prices are still, not desirable. I'll say that much. And, guys, take care. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Same time, same vibes. Only here, on Pulse 95.
If you liked this episode of The Evening Buzz, drop a like and subscribe. Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.